Hi and welcome along to AFTV. Huge game today. It is Arsenal versus Manchester United. The old rivalry is back and this is a huge game today. First of all, let me introduce everybody that's here on the starting 11. We've got lead judges.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Dan Potts is in the building. I think he held it down brilliantly last week.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, well done for that, man. And of course, Julian is here.
Clap. Thank you.
Now, before it's time for the revenge, and our revenge today is powered by NordVPN. Before we get into it, here is a question from NordVPN. Why does it always rain on Ty?
Okay, Ty, let's go over this once again. Why do you think you're unable to access new content on your favourite streaming services?
It was raining that day. We mustn't forget that it's been raining, so the pitch is quite...
It's been raining?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Okay, how did you end up with harmful malware on your laptop? Was that rain as well?
Actually, I had nothing to do with the rain.
Oh, good.
It was snowing. It's a disgrace.
Really, Ty? And what about that Nigerian prince phishing scam?
Robbie, good news. I'm coming to Qatar. I've just had an email from a Nigerian prince. He's offered me £4 million to help with some money transfers. Spurs fans. And it was too humid.
Ty, what you need is NordVPN.
NordVPN.
Yes, think of it as an umbrella, but just for your online activities.
I like umbrellas.
Great. It's going to protect you from the unpredictable weather conditions within the online world.
Really?
Yes, you'll be protected from harmful malware, viruses, and hackers.
Spurs fans as well.
Yes, especially if they're sending you phishing scams.
Anything else?
It's super fast, so you can virtually fly into different countries.
Just like Mary Poppins.
Exactly. And you can use it on up to 6 devices.
Eh?
Oh, sorry, I mean, you'll have 6 different umbrellas that allow you to fly through the internet, protected with complete freedom at the touch of a button.
You, sir, are not a disgrace. Thank you.
Remember, with the AFTV special, you can get a bonus gift and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to nordvpn.com/AFTV now.
That's NordVPN. Be invincible wherever the weather by scanning the QR code and clicking the link in the description for the AFTV special on NordVPN. Of course, huge game.
Come on.
Great bit of acting.
Come on, man. Big
That
up.
was superb.
Big up. Big
That
up.
was brilliant.
He's like a bit like a Bond villain or something.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that, you know what I mean? Like, what was that one with the mini-meat Austin Powers? What was that one?
Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil, yeah.
With a cat. You just did a little...
Anyway, let's move on to the game.
I thought it was more like James Bond than the James Bond villain.
No, I think that's wishful thinking, Julian. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, guys, listen, it's a huge game today.
Massive.
This game is big. They're all big. They've all been. I mean, we've had a month full of like huge games. Of course, last week Tottenham, you know, a test. We dealt with that test. This today is another big one. Manchester United, the most, you know, apart from us, the most unformed team in the division right now. They did have a setback during the week against Crystal Palace. They are going to be missing Casemiro, but as their manager Ten Hag pointed out, they beat us without Casemiro at Old Trafford. That's our only defeat so far this season. Lee.
Funny that, because I did see him actually on the pitch that game, right? You know what I mean? Come on as a sub. But he can't come on as a sub today and shore things up. So, you know, Man United talking crap as they normally do, like, you know.
He forgot that we were missing Partey.
Yeah. But listen, massive game today. I think this is it tonight, today. This is it.
What do you mean this is
Well, I think we get through this one, we win this one, I'm going to believe. I believe if we win this one, like, you know what I mean? I really do. Because I felt like Tottenham last week was a tough game. I felt Newcastle was a tough game. They come in here, Newcastle, and played blocks. Manchester United will put blocks up, but they've got a bit more about them to do something. If we can get through this one today and win this game, I think it's massive. I really do. I think it's massive.
It is a massive game. It feels like that, doesn't it? It feels like back in the day when we used to play Man United. You know what I mean? Like, the biggest game in the Premier League is this game.
Yeah, it's massive, and I don't think we'll ever replicate the Vieira and Keane days and the Fergie and Wenger days. I don't. I think we're both at the top again, which is great to see. But this one seems massive, and I think, do you know why it's massive, Rob? Is because Man United fans are getting quite cocky. They can't wait to play us. We're gonna have to beat you. We're gonna have to beat you. They had a title race. What, 3 days they lasted in a title race? Now they've gone down again. Oh, with Casemiro's out, you're going to beat us again. Oh, we ain't going to win this now. We drop points to Palace. Mate, if they really are back, then come beat us at our ground. Do you know what I'm saying? And you're right, Lee, about Casemiro and the Thomas Partey thing. They've not mentioned the fact we didn't have Thomas Partey. They're crying now. We ain't got Casemiro. We weren't crying. I was quite confident going to Old Trafford without Partey, to be fair. And I know that we lost the game and we were naive in parts, and I get that. I think we'll try and correct that today. It's just a massive.
Do you think we've learnt a lot from that game? Because,
Massively.
Because there was mistakes made in that game. There was mistakes made by the manager as well in the game with his substitutions and everything. But since then, he's been brilliant.
Do you know what I think he's learnt already, Rob? Is because we've already seen some games where we've scored back into games, or we've got that goal. We haven't gone gung-ho. We've tried to relax and see out games. We did it against Leeds. And obviously against Southampton, where we were really disappointed. We didn't lose that game. We went through it. I think before we've been guilty of going gung-ho. And for me, I think, I'm confident today, quietly confident today.
Yeah, does this feel like one of those games for you, Julian, like what Lee just described, that, you know, if we win this, you start to really believe?
Well, I really believe already. So I'm kind of beyond really believing. But for me, the importance of today is that we put them out of the title race. It's a bit like last season, although it's a little bit earlier, but we have that gap on them, is that last season when we beat them, we put them out of that, we were ahead of them. And that's what will happen today. That if we get another 3 points, and it is a 6-pointer, then we've put them out of sight. So then who have we got to worry about? We've got to worry about City. So I wouldn't say this is the biggest game of the season. The biggest game of the season for us is going to be against City.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be the championship decider. I'm looking at the table now, and I think even the most pessimistic Arsenal fan will acknowledge that we're already in top 4. I can't see anyone beating us for top 4. Our aim for this season was to get the top 4. We're there. So our needs now are far beyond that. Our needs are first, and we'll be competing with City for first if we beat United. If we don't beat United today, and if United, were to get, and it's a horrible thought, were to come here and get a victory, then it's a 3-horse race. And Newcastle aren't out of it either. So, yeah, it is really important, but it shouldn't, and hopefully won't be the most important game this season.
Yeah, 5G OJJ58 says, what minute will Bruno Fernandes moan to the referee? As the table stands at the moment, looking at it, Arsenal top with 47 points. Manchester City, they're winning at the moment against Wolves. So if that stays the same, there'll be 2 points behind us. They're on 45 points. Would have played 2 games more, but there'll be 2 points behind us. Newcastle are actually in third, not Manchester United at the moment. Newcastle are in third on 39 points. And Man United, obviously, they played a game less. They have got 39 points. But if Arsenal were to win today, that would put us on 50 points. 5 points ahead of Manchester City with a game in hand. And that would put us like 11 points ahead of Manchester United as well, with a game in hand on them as well. So it's a huge game.
Yeah, it is.
It's all in a, if we can get the job done today, which, we've got a decent record against Manchester United at home in recent years. This could be a pivotal moment, like you said.
There's a couple of things on this why it's pivotal. Like, one, you can go above Man United, get in front of Man United in double digits. Once you start getting in double digits, it means a lot. Julian's right. Man City's a big game, but Man City would be an even bigger game if we beat Man United, beat Everton. You know what I mean? And we go into that game with points where then they've got to, they've got to beat us to claw back the points. You know what I mean? Like, where at the moment, if things were to go wrong, they could be actually in front of us by that time. So it's important that we keep that gap going. And the other thing is very, very important on this. There's only one team that's beaten us this season, and that's these. So that's that. Give them what they deserve back. And
I remember that game. I remember coming out of that stadium thinking, we shouldn't have lost that.
Well, we shouldn't have done.
All right, well, we shouldn't. Maybe a draw at least. We should have got out of that game. I was just like, By the way, Manchester City are 2-0 up now. Haaland with a penalty. So how many more goals is going to score this season? He's
That's
on
all
fire.
he does.
But that game's done and dusted. You should
Put him
say.
behind a striker like that, would you? That's all he does is keep scoring.
Wouldn't it be great if he gets 40?
That's what you're
He
paid for.
hardly touches the ball.
That's what you're paid for. If you hardly touch the ball and you see, if Eddie hardly touches the ball today and he scores, who cares? That's what he's paid for, and he's the best at it right now. He's absolutely on fire. But that's why it's going to be very important to win today.
Massive, massive. You know, like Lee says, this is a big one. You start talking about double points ahead of sides like Manchester United. That's why it's so massive today. And, you know, the other thing is we keep answering those questions at the moment. And this is the one question we haven't been able to answer. Can you beat Man United? The answer was no at Old Trafford. Let's make sure it's yes today. And I think that we will. Honestly, I'm really quietly confident about this one because I feel like we can dominate that midfield and I feel like we can get at them. And that, for me, is massively important. You win this one, Robbie, and there's been a lot more people, not just Arsenal fans, but football fans in neutral, they're going to start to believe that Arsenal are the real deal this season, man.
Oliver Smith says, I think you're all forgetting as well that Jesus ain't playing, and he was the main threat on that day. Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the stuff like I've seen, the way they've been crying about Casemiro being out, I'm like, this is only one player. Now, it does probably mean that they're probably going to go maybe like that sort of double pivot in midfield, and McFred, the famous McFred. But they will be solid in there with those two, and they will be looking to catch us on the counter-attack. And on the counter-attack, they are very dangerous. And Marcus Rashford has been on fire this season, Julian.
Yeah.
We're going to have to contain him, especially, and Bruno Fernandes as well. Another very dangerous player this season for Manchester United.
I thought we went into that game with slightly too much confidence because we just opened ourselves up. I mean, we were seriously unlucky. I've watched that, what should have been the first goal. We should have been 1-0 up.
Well, it's come out since, innit, that VAR admitted they made a mistake with that goal.
Yes.
And
So,
a bit late, but... Yeah.
So I know Dan said that we haven't proven that we can beat United this season, but take that away from us, a perfectly good goal, I'm sure we'd have gone on to win that game 2-3-0. It was the pivotal point in that game. We were cheated out of a goal. And they went on, they gave us a sucker punch. We were slightly naive. We went a little bit too gung-ho. I seem to remember that he made sort of 3 or 4 substitutions all in one go. And he still had half an hour to go. But he's learnt from that. He learns from that's one of the things I love about Arteta. He makes mistakes, as we all do, but he learns from them, and I'm sure he won't do that again, and he won't let us be sucker punched again like we were at Old Trafford, and hopefully the referee won't be as biased for them as well.
Well, before we sort of start talking about the teams, I want to speak to you guys about the transfer window, because Arsenal been pretty active over the past couple of days. All right, we know we missed out on Mudryk, who looked pretty good, by the way, yesterday. However, they have brought in Trossard, and also they are about on the verge of bringing in a centre-back as well, left-sided centre-back. I mean, what have you made of the signing of Trossard and the centre-back?
I've always said this. I said that this January it'd probably be like, it won't be exciting signings, but there'll be signings that we need. We need very, very hard at this moment, and I mean this sincerely, to improve on our team. Our first 11. Our first 11 is good. You know, where's the weak link in our 11? There isn't really one, is there? Like, you know, so it was really about bolstering the squad. Everybody would turn around me and said, "What is our weakness? Oh, the squad's not strong enough to get to." Now all of a sudden, bringing in 2 more players, I feel like going to Old Trafford next week. Now I feel more. Oh right, swap a few. He's got hat-trick.
3-0 hat-trick for Haaland now. Haaland has scored a hat-trick. Another one. That's about his 5th hat-trick this season.
It's getting on my nerves, Robbie. So from that point of view, it was all about strengthening the squad. So if we was to lose players, you know what I mean? Like now, I think the biggest compliment we can give Eddie is that no one's turning around and going, "Oh, I can't wait for Jesus to come back." So he's doing a job there, like, you know. Now we've got somebody to come in on the left side with Trossard who can give Martinelli or Saka a break. You know, central
defender. Or he can play kind of centrally.
Yeah, he can play in a couple of positions. I just think one more player now. If we can get a midfield player in now, whether it be a loan signing or you know, someone like a good squad player coming in that can compete. The Mudryk one for me is, if you're spending that sort of money, you're going to have to play him, and that could upset the apple cart a little bit, like, you know. So I think that, you know, he looks he looked very, very good yesterday, you know. But at the end of the day, Arsenal are looking very good as well. So it's all about the squad for me.
What do you make of it? Jakub Kiwori, who's the left-sided centre-back, Polish. He played in the World Cup.
For me, that one.
I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. But he played in all the games for Poland in the World Cup, and they had a decent defence, by the way, in that World Cup. I saw this morning that he's a manager of this club that he plays for in Italy. Not happy, understands why he's gone, but not happy because he's such a top player. Juventus were in for him, Borussia Dortmund. There was a load of different teams in for him. I was reading this morning that Arsenal had been speaking to him. Mikel Arteta was on the phone to him, speaking to him from just after the World Cup. So it's definitely a player they targeted. And also Trossard, who can hit the ground running. Trossard, who we know, we've seen him in the Premier League and can probably play anywhere across that front three. I mean, are you happy with those two signings?
I'm very, very happy with Trossard. I am. I'm really happy with it. And I think that it would be strange for me if there's any Arsenal fans questioning this one, because he's Premier League proven. He's at a good age, where he's like at his best for me. He's on form. I think he's got 7 in 16 goals.
7 goals. He scored
really
a hat-trick
impressive.
at Anfield, didn't he?
Hat-trick at Anfield, can play right, left, and as a false 9 or a 9, and drop into the 10 if he needs to. I think this is good for versatility in terms of what Arteta's looking at. It's good money, £20 million rising to 27. As for Jakub Kiwior, I don't know much about him, Robbie. I can't lie to you, mate. I can't. And for me, I think that
but
the position is good, and that's what we need.
Which is something we don't have at the moment. You know what I mean? You see sometimes in the Europa League games,
100%.
Gabriel's still having to play.
And that's what I was going to say. Every single game, Gabriel plays left centre-back. Now, Rob Holding, we've seen come in to the mix 100%. I don't think you're going to see much of Rob Holding in terms of the long-term future at Arsenal. And I think that Arteta's realised that. We needed a left-footed centre-back, and he is that guy. So he fits the bill. He's 6'2", I believe, 22 years old, Polish international. Let's give him a chance, mate. And
also today, there was talk that there was I forgot his name now, but there's a defensive midfielder that Arsenal went to. They met his release clause, or were looking to meet his release clause and get him out of Sociedad. He said that he doesn't want to leave mid-season, but that shows you they're trying to get a defensive midfielder as well. It's quite active business in the transfer window by Arsenal.
What's really good for me are the last couple of windows. Do you know, like under Wenger, when we needed a centre forward, we go and be linked with a left back, or we needed a right back and we go and get a centre half or a defensive midfield. We're actually looking at the positions we need now. So defensive midfield, centre midfield. Trossard can play across the front three, left-sided centre-back. You wouldn't look at any of those players we're linked with and go, I can't really see how they're going to get in the team. All of them could fit into this squad. I think that's really good to see.
Yep. Camille says, so proud of what Mick and the boys are doing this season, but I do fear that the Cronkies won't want to go back to being a top 4 team and not contenders, and might step off the gas pedal moving forwards. Interested in your opinions? Well, I think they're, certainly in the transfer market, they're showing they're showing ambition. Even the potential of trying to get Mudryk to splash out that amount of money in January shows that, to me, quite a lot of ambition. I was reading this morning that the Premier League has spent something like so far spent about £320 million. Half of that's Chelsea spending.
I was going to say,
in this January transfer window, right? The rest of Europe, that's La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga and Liga and French League, have spent about 40 million. All of them put together. It's crazy, isn't it? The spending that's going on in the Premier League.
Financial power is in this country, isn't it?
Yeah.
Todd Bowley, mate, step forward.
It's the best league in the world.
It is the league where everybody wants to, all the top players want to play now. Makram says, hey, Robbie, just finished watching Transfer Daily. Side topic, but it's Jakub Kiwori is pronounced Kiwori. His W in Polish is a V. Love from Canada. All right, I know. I butchered it again.
Jakub Kiwior. That's what I've been told. Kiwior.
He hasn't signed yet, though, is he?
Yeah,
he's going to be at the ground today.
Right.
And
he's got a free ticket, hasn't he?
He's done he's done his medical and everything, and it's just really for him just to be unveiled.
So it could be announced today.
He'll be sat next to Lee Judges. He'll be all right.
They'll probably officially do it Monday or Tuesday this week. Right. But he's signed, and as I said, they are looking at a defensive midfielder now. So they'll be very active in this transfer window.
Yeah, I've not had any
which I've liked, because it shows to me that, they have got their eye on the league now. They are saying to themselves, no, actually, we need to go and get in squad depth, you know, because this league challenge, you know, 'cause remember, we've got the Europa League coming back, so that's going to be Thursday, Sunday again, right? Going to need that squad depth.
Yeah.
Could have, you know, if we survive next week, you know, we could have an FA Cup run. So
I find it very strange that people are not, what's the word, like, giving the, you know, always looking to criticise what the Cronkies are doing. Like,
they need to be appreciative.
Yeah, at the end of it, you know, they could actually say, well, not virtually get it, as Julian said earlier on, you know, like top 4 looks more, you know.
It's done. Top 4's
well,
done.
You know, like it's nearly done, like, you know what I mean. So
never say
really
done, but
never say done, but you know what I mean. But so you don't really need to investigate top 4 if you want, but they have. So you know, I think that you still got to be wary of everything there. But when they do something and bring out, you know, sign a few players and whatever, you have to give them a little bit of credit, like, you know what I mean?
Because with this signing of Jakub Kiwior, right, that will mean that the spending in this window will be nearly £40 million.
Yeah, and it's realistically.
You know, last year it was just only
really
loans only. Remember they said it will only be loans.
And if you think about it, if any of us would have turned around and said, do you know what, at the back we're all right.
Yeah.
Depth-wise and whatever.
There's nothing wrong with Rob Holding. I understand.
No, Tierney can play central defence.
It could be an upgrade on Rob Holding, but when you look at all the different options they had in defence with Tomiyasu, can play across the back, I wouldn't say that we needed it. But
I think the issue is, right, is that none of those are naturally left-sided centre-backs.
Yeah.
Right, so Rob Holding is a right-sided centre-back. Tomiyasu can play centre-back, but again, right-sided.
He's played left back this season.
He can do, but he's not young. So naturally, he can play it, but he's not really a centre back.
He's more a back three. Isn't he?
So you're bringing in a naturally left-sided centre back. That means if there's because we've got to think if an injury was to, you know, we saw it with Jesus. He's been out a long time now, and not looking like coming back until at least March. So having that cover, I think, with a guy he's young, but obviously he's experienced. He's just played the World Cup. Played 4 games in the World Cup, Polish international, you know, was making waves over there, even though we've never heard of him. But in Serie A, you know, there's a team that, you know, Juventus are after him. I think, you know, that's very positive.
Listen, we never heard of Gabriel before he came in.
Tomiyasu, Gabriel.
So, like, you know, when it comes to transfers and all that, like, you know, I'm going to back, even through the bad times of us playing, we brought in good players. You know what I mean? Like the Gabriels, Martinelli's, you know what I mean?
We're still not done either. I still think the midfielders coming in. I really do.
Well, Rizwan says, listening to Transfer Daily this morning, I couldn't believe I heard Robbie say William Carvalho. I did say that. I felt trauma from the 2014 Transfer Daily all over. That's another player that apparently Arsenal...
How old is he now? 39?
He's 30 now.
Yeah.
I know.
I was going to say.
When we were looking at him, right, he was about 21, you know what I mean? But he's 30 now. At Real Betis, we're supposed to be interested in.
Higuain will be involved.
Lee Jacobs says, big up Robbie, let's go boys from South Africa. We're about 6 minutes away from the team being announced. Do you expect it to be the same team playing against Spurs last week?
And I'm looking at the subs bench today because obviously El Nini weren't there last week. I'm starting to get a little bit worried about this El Nini thing.
Well, just on that, there was a rumour today linking him with a move to Turkey.
I'd be disappointed.
I'd be disappointed.
And as I said, they are looking at the moment, Arsenal, at another defensive midfielder. But I don't know. I'd be shocked if they let Elneny go.
Yeah, I would be. Experienced player does the job.
I think he wasn't ill last week.
But I think someone said he got a knock.
Yeah.
So I want him on the bench today because I just feel a little bit more comfortable. 10 minutes to go from the end. If we're a couple of goals up, you can bring him on and see out the game. So I didn't even notice that he was, you know, with all what was going on last week at Arsenal Spurs game. I didn't even know that he wasn't on the bench. You know what I mean? I like to see a strong, healthy bench, you know what I mean, as well. And so, you know, I'd be interested in that. And obviously, if Trossard is on the bench or not today.
I think it will be Trossard.
Dan says FFS. He says another Haaland hat-trick. What are your guys' scores prediction? If we lose today, our City will be breathing down our necks. We know that. But you guys all expect the same team?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no changes.
I mean, earlier in the season, I was always pushing for Tierney. I thought Tierney was our better bet at left back, but now I've kind of changed my mind. Zinchenko is such
I remember
a
you
plus.
pushing for Tierney was
Yeah,
your
I
guy.
was, I've
What are you
changed
saying
my
now?
mind.
Listen, I still rate him.
Yeah,
I still
rate
like him a lot. I think he was given a little bit of kind of people, we don't need Tierney now, Tierney's old news. And I didn't like that. because I'm a big
still
fan
got
of
to
him.
put respect on
I think
him. Yeah,
he's still got to
of course.
respect that he can come in and do a job. But Zinchenko on the ball has been unreal.
Yeah.
I thought against Spurs he was
No, it was
ridiculous.
awesome,
brilliant.
Absolutely
Brilliant against
ridiculous.
Spurs.
I've got to say, like this time last season, our two best players were probably Tommy Asu and Tierney.
Tierney, yeah.
And now they're not even in the team. That just
Brilliant
shows
though,
you
isn't it?
unbelievable
Yeah.
what these two guys have done. And I've got to say, I sort of say he's one of my favourite players now, but Zinchenko, after what he done at Tottenham, he come out on the pitch, we was there, come straight up to the fans, giving it, not that we needed up like any of that for that game, but he done that, and then he put in a performance at their ground, which I thought was sublime. I thought it was fantastic.
I love how Lee
everything
says
about it.
Zinchenko. Zinchenko.
What's it?
Can't not say it. I
How
love
do you
it. I love
pronounce
it.
it? Zinchenko.
Zinchenko. What do I say?
Ilya 7K says Robbie.
Zinchenko!
Robbie seems scared of United. I'm certainly not scared of United.
Respect him,
You've
though.
got to respect them. They're playing well.
There's a difference between respect and being scared.
100%.
And it's a different United now with Ten Hag. You can see he's made a difference there. You know what I mean? But we're at home. I don't think there's nothing to be scared of because we're at home. We haven't lost a game at home this season, right? We're strong at home. We've been, just like United have been on a great run, so have we. I think we've come back from the World Cup. We've been absolutely fantastic. We've got great players. Why should I be scared? I mean,
The greatest thing about this game is
guy-
just like the Spurs game, Robbie. If Arsenal turn up and play to their best, Arsenal win this game.
Yeah.
That is something that we've not said for a very, very long while. We're going to places now, the better team. We went to Tottenham last week as the better team, turned up, showed up, the result takes care of itself. It's the same today. If Arsenal produce and perform, we'll be okay. But that's what makes you nervous. Are they going to perform? That's what it's all about.
Well, they have been this season. I mean, obviously the last time out.
A game where we haven't really performed.
Yeah, last time out though, we did.
Southampton.
At home it was 0-0. We have to remember
We were
that.
so unlucky in that game.
We're going to need to.
That first 15 minutes, we were sensational.
Yeah, we should have been 2-3 up 15 minutes, and we fluffed our chances, and then they stuck 15 men behind the ball, the brick wall.
Fair play to them though, Newcastle. To
As
be
they've
fair.
been doing very well this season.
Yeah, they come with a game plan and it works, so you just got to move on.
Right, we're only
That's our worst
a
performance.
couple of minutes away from the team coming out, and then once I get that team, I'm going to ask everybody for their predictions. But a lot of you guys are bigging up Tierney here. Vesliossi says Tierney must stay. Tierney will go abroad, says Steve Collins. That's the other thing as well. That I hear a lot of people that will say things like, "Oh, Tierney's going to want to leave." Tierney, to me, this is what big teams are about, right? You need a big squad.
Yep.
So if we are in the Champions League, you need Tierney and you need Zinchenko because you're playing 2 games a week all season.
Well, one to play
if you go
Champions
down
League,
that
one
far.
to play the Premier League next season. That's
so-
a big difference, you know what I mean? So
You need a good squad.
Yeah, of course you do.
Even in the Europa League, you need a good squad. If you know, now we're getting down to the business end of the Europa League. You need a good squad.
And I will say this to Tierney, he was talking to the Scottish press this week.
Right.
Fantastic what he was saying. Like, you know what I mean?
What was he saying?
He was saying, I'm not in the team at the moment, but I've got to work harder, I've got to do this and do that.
Yeah, I love
play
it.
patient.
Mate.
Saying all the right things. Now, whether he means that or not, it doesn't matter. He's saying the right things. I've got to work hard. When I get my chance, I'll be ready. This and this is a player that probably disappointed he's not in the side, but ultimately he's an experienced player saying all the right things. And
Do
that's
you know what,
want.
Lee? This is why I like him so much. It's not so much because I rate him as a footballer, because I do. I think he's fantastic. He epitomises everything I want in my Arsenal side. He's got the professionalism. He's got the winning mentality. He's not in the side at the moment. Some players would get peed by that. You saw the documentary, Lakonga, I should be playing, why not getting in the side? Tierney's come out and said, look, Tommy Asu got ahead of me, I was told it was tactical, I'm happy with that. I'll work hard and I'll get back in the squad. That's what I want to see, man. I love
He's
it.
not flash either.
No.
He's got the right attitude, and that attitude can be infectious throughout the team. And you get someone that has a poor attitude and he starts complaining and he gets away with that, then that's infectious.
Okay, we've got the team. This is the Arsenal team that is going to play today. It's Ramsdale in goal. Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka, Martin Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli and Eddie Nketiah. That is the team that plays today. On the bench is Turner, Tierney, Tomiyasu, Holding, Lokonga, Vieira, Smith Rowe, Marquinhos and Leandro Trossard will be on the bench. So a bit of a stronger bench now. You know what I mean? Fabio Vieira, Smith Rowe. No El Neni on the bench yet. Lokonga in there.
Quite an attack.
No El Neni on the bench. So, yeah, what do you guys think of that team?
Yeah, it's exactly as we expected. Well. Yeah, the bench is strong. I mean, for me, when you look at the bench and you look at the team and you look at the injuries we've got, we have got an in-depth squad. I don't think we can complain. Even if they make no more signings now, I think we've got enough.
Interesting not to see Cedric and El Neni. Maybe they're both off.
Yeah.
Maybe they're both off.
Cedric, I think we know.
Going to Fulham?
He's been on the bench a lot lately, Cedric. I am starting to worry about...
Cedric's going to Fulham.
Yeah.
El Neni, is he? Why is El Neni? Is he injured?
Well, he had a knock, didn't he?
He's still got a knock.
But he hasn't been training this week either.
No, he hasn't been training this week.
Well,
also,
maybe.
He come back from injury.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. We've obviously been linked with Fresneda in terms of a right back. We've been linked with defensive midfielders. But I'm just interested to see why Cedric and El Neni aren't on the bench. Maybe they are going. I don't know.
By the way, Adam says, at Christmas we were 5 points clear. If we win today, 5 games later, we're still 5 points.
Point.
Yeah. We're still 5 points clear with a game in hand on City.
Yeah,
so actually in a better position.
Yeah, but we have to win.
And Hayne says, thoughts on Wenger bad-mouthing... Sorry, De Gea bad-mouthing Wenger. Let's get into the Manchester United team, right? So the Manchester United team is De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, McTominay, Eriksen, Fernandes, Anthony, Rashford, and Wout Weghorst. All right, so
there's no Fred.
No Fred
in.
Got Wilmer.
Yeah, no Fred in the midfield. And on the bench for them is Heaton, Lindelof, Maguire, Malacia, Fred, Palestri, Elanga, Garnacho, and Mainu. So that is their bench. Garnacho obviously is a real threat coming off that bench. But yeah, once again, De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, McTominay, Eriksen, Fernandes, Anthony, Rashford, and Wout Weghorst, who they bought in, of course, from Burnley, via Besiktas. United team, what do you think of that? Obviously, Casemiro, no Casemiro.
Yeah, strong. I thought they might have gone with Fred and McTominay in midfield just to strengthen it up. So they're going for it. They're going for it. So they've got their wide players.
Got Eriksen and Fernandes in midfield.
So
they're gonna have to put their work in.
They're going to put their work in, and they've got players up front that can hurt us. You know, the long ball up now is going to be a problem where it sticks, and then they can. Yeah, you've got Weghorst who can hold it up and then push on us. But if we dominate that midfield, which I do think that we will do. Listen, first 20 minutes are key. Let's go and do what we did a few years ago. I know Alexis Sanchez was saying a few things, but like
3-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, go
after 20 minutes.
First
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was brilliant. Jonathan Norton says Trossard is similar to Cazorla in the way that he's quick with his feet, both-footed, and has a first-step acceleration to get past players, but won't have the pace to run down the line like Martinelli. Different type of player than Martinelli. Let's get your predictions. Julian, let's start with you.
I think it'll be 2-0 to Arsenal. I can't see them scoring. I think our defence this season has been so good. And a few...
Rashford, remember?
Well, I know they can hit us on the break, but I think that Arteta will learn from what happened at Old Trafford. And the other thing with this forward they've got, what's he like, 6'7" or something?
Yeah, Weghorst.
Yeah, Weghorst. So in seasons gone by, I'd have been concerned by a player like that. But we're now equipped to deal with these kind of big cart horses. So I think we'll be fine. But I mean,
You've said it now.
He's come from Burnley. That sums it up.
No, but he does.
He's a good player.
He
He
scored.
Haaland's a cartel.
Scored a great goal in the World Cup. Remember that? So
he's a decent player. He's 6 foot.
decent player. He's a weapon. He's a weapon.
Yeah, he's a
I think
weapon.
I do see where you're coming from though, because you know,
I see what you're saying. I do
look at
see.
Arsenal this season from set pieces. We've defended them all brilliantly in that, but it's a weapon. It's, you know, the way they transition the ball, United really quickly. If they get it up to him, he can hold it up. But you can look at them, you think, yeah, we can get him.
Yeah, 100. I think we can get him, and I think we will. I've gone 2-1 Arsenal, and I'll stick with it. We don't keep a clean sheet at home. I mean, last time at Newcastle, but we don't tend to keep clean sheets at the Emirates. But I think we'll have enough for them, and I've gone 2-1. I'm surprised that they haven't done what they did with De Bruyne with Ødegaard. I thought Fred was going to just sit on Ødegaard today. I really did.
That's what I thought.
I really thought that was going to happen. And we're not seeing Fred in that team. They're
having a go in it if they're bringing.
Maybe McTominay's going to hold and the other two are going to go for it.
McTominay will hold and the other two sort of. Yeah.
I'll go 2-1 Arsenal then.
Okay.
Same, 2-1. I do feel that we're a little bit more open at home, and that's why we concede a little bit more. Like, you know what I mean? I think we're a little bit more solid when we go away from home, but there is that emphasis to attack a little bit more, which just leaves us open a little bit, and that's why we've conceded goals. But listen, I think we're in a good. When people say Man United are in good form, so are we.
Yeah, I think they forget about it. I think this is because we've been in good form all season.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm going 2-0. I do think I fancy us today. I think, you know, just as I said last week, if we turn up, we win the game. It's as simple as that. We're a better side right now. They are a good side, but we're a better side, I feel. But can't be complacent against their counter-attacking football. And they've taken big scalps this season. Yeah. So we've got to be on it. But listen, we've been passing the tests, as they say, every time this season. So why can't we pass another? Excuse me. Why can't we pass another? Let me just remind everybody of the teams again. And once again, 11,000 of you in the chat, in the comments. So thank you very much for that. But let me give you the team one more time, as it just flew past me. I'll give you the Man United team first. It's De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, Shaw, McTominay, Eriksen, Fernandes, Anthony, Rashford, and Weghorst. And their bench is Heaton, Lindelof, Maguire, Malacia, Fred, Pellistri, Elanga, Garnacho, and Mainu. And the Arsenal team is in goal, Aaron Ramsdale, Ben White, William Saliba and Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Xhaka, Ødegaard, Saka, Martinelli and Eddie Nketiah. And on the bench is Matt Turner, Kieran Tierney, Emil Smith-Rowe, Holding, Tomiyasu, Fabio Vieira, Lokonga, Marquinhos, and the new signing, Leandro Trossard. A couple of Arsenal players actually running the tightrope of a ban in this game. With the amount of yellow cards, I think it's Gabriel, Saka, and Saliba. Yeah. So they won't be wanting to get it.
If they don't get booked today, then they're all right.
That'll be against Everton, won't it? It won't be in the FA Cup.
Yeah, they miss
Everton. But if they don't get booked today, it's all scrubbed off.
London Nomad says, how many fouls do you London Nomad says, how many fouls do you think McTominay will get away with today? Yeah. He'll be putting it in there, definitely. Well, listen, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget today, right, we've got two very special things coming up. So we've got a brilliant watch-along coming up. We've got recording artist Chipmunk, who's a big Arsenal fan. He's going to be here on the sofa, so he's going to be part of the watch-along. So make sure you check that out. And then we've got a brand new full-time show today. Now, if you want to get involved in the show, all you got to do is download the app, AFTV Plus, right? And you can join the stream by just clicking a couple of links inside of the app. And you can join live on your phone into the actual show, right? So James is going to be hosting that later on. We want to hear from as many of you as possible after the game. If you look in the description, there's a link if you haven't really downloaded the app, AFTV Plus. But you'll be able to have your own fan cam straight after the game. Speak to James, tell us what you thought. Hopefully we'll be discussing a big win for Arsenal. And hopefully we can get that win because it's looking like City, they're 3-0 up. Haaland's got a hat-trick. So they are going to be breathing down our neck. if we don't get this win. So let's hope we get a big win today. Thanks to Lee. Thank you, Dan. Thank you to Julian. Thank you to all of you watching, and we'll see you back very soon. Also, just before I go, don't forget to get your NordVPN. The link is in the description. You can also scan the QR code, use the code, and also you can get your AFTV special. So thanks very much to NordVPN, and we'll see you back soon. Listen, things ain't getting any cheaper. So if you're traveling a lot like me and you want to save money, you can do that with NordVPN. Once you have NordVPN, you can explore a lot of different price options for things like flights, hotels, entertainment, anything you want. Just use NordVPN to change your location. Why pay international prices when you can pay local prices? We save literally hundreds of pounds every time we follow Arsenal on tour. It's a no-brainer. Just click the link to be invincible.